Nuclear weapons exist because of fear. The fear that one's enemy may be capable of unleashing a power so great that the only way to stop it would be to have a massive deterrent and develop the technology yourself, assuring mutual destruction if used. Hello, my name is Kyle Williams, and my speech today will cover the state of the world's nuclear weapons. During the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Reich, the United States was informed by Albert Einstein, a German physicist, of Adolf Hitler's intention to develop the atomic bomb. Fearing what Hitler would do if the technology was developed, he strongly urged Franklin Delano Roosevelt and the United States to develop the bomb themselves. It took FDR only 10 days after receiving Einstein's letter to commission the Manhattan Project, which got its start on September 17, 1942, and 3 years later, under the direction of Chief Physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer, the first nuclear explosion was done in Alamogordo, New Mexico, on July 16, 1945, thus ending the first nuclear arms race between the United States and Germany. The power that today's nuclear superpowers are capable of unleashing is arguably the reason why many volatile regions around the world have not broken out into full-scale wars. Albert Einstein, though opposed to war and the use of nuclear weapons, urged Franklin Delano Roosevelt to develop the atom bomb before Hitler and the Nazis as a deterring factor. Atomic energy was initially conceived for the good of society. It was a way to power whole cities for years without tapping into fossil fuels and the Earth's natural resources. But as we know in history, the bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki had devastating consequences. But what we don't know is that the bombs that we look at on TV, when we see those historic videos, though they seem massive, pale in comparison to what we're capable of today. The bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki were only about 15 to 22 kilotons in size, and the bomb dropped on Hiroshima only destroyed 5 square miles and killed about 50,000 people, which by today's standard is still a massive destruction. But given the power of today's weapons, again, pales in comparison. The power unleashed by the atomic blast then has been compared to 1,000 suns by some, and so devastating that Nikita Khrushchev stated that the survivors of an atomic blast then envied the dead. Today, the world's nuclear superpowers are the United States, the Soviet Union, the North Korea, China, France, Israel, Great Britain, and India and Pakistan. Today, the world's nuclear superpowers possess a capability to destroy the world over 1,000 times over. These weapons are held in strategic places around the world, on military installations, inside mountain ranges, and on various military vessels that roam the world ready to strike. The United States keeps active nuclear missiles that have a yield of over 100 kilotons. Along with their larger yield nuclear warheads, there are several smaller strategic nuclear warheads that are used to strike targets and minimize loss of life and property. Again, there are about 8 nuclear powers in the world today, and several other states actively pursuing development of nuclear weapons. And between 1945 and the end of the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union were and are still the world's leaders in nuclear armament, with a combined total of active nuclear warheads of around 30,000. North Korea, Iran, and Israel have become some of the newest countries to develop and are currently on the verge of development of nuclear weapons. In 1968, the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, or NPT, was drafted in July of 1968 and went into effect March of 1970. At the time the NPT was drafted, only 5 countries were known to have nuclear weapons and agreed to not aid other states in acquiring nuclear arms in any way, or to work towards the reduction of nuclear arms with the end goal of total nuclear disarmament. All of the countries a part of the United States signed the treaty except India, Pakistan, and Israel, which is given controversy today given the state of Iran and their pursuits of developing nuclear weapons. There are thousands of nuclear weapons, again, that are active in the world today, with thousands in reserve waiting to be used. The logic behind nuclear weapons is that we will possess a capability of destroying the world, and that serves as a deterrent to all nuclear powers, and that surely the mutual destruction of the world would deter anyone from using them. Given this, also the need for nuclear weapons exists with so many because of the need of redundancy. Given this an attack on our nation and our nuclear armament, that there will be so many in the world today that the inevitable strike against our aggressors would again assure mutual destruction, serving as a deterrent. Combined, there are about 40,000 nuclear weapons in the world today, again, with the capability of destroying the world over 1,000 times over. Thank you for listening. This is my speech on the state of the world's nuclear weapons.